published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 5th, 2018. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards and the Township website.
At this time, everybody please silence your cell phones. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Here.
Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Vice President Crate. Councilman Mumolo.
Here.
Councilman Fosman.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Here.
President DeYoung.
Here.
Thank you.
Everybody please rise for the salute to the flag and a moment of silence. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, please accept and file the reports for the municipal officers.
I will.
And can I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of August 14th?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Fosman, second by Councilman Mumolo. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Councilman Mumolo.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to the consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Very good. 4.1, authorize submission of grant application 2019 municipal aid program. This resolution authorizes the submission of a grant application and approval to execute a contract if awarded with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the 2019 municipal aid program for the Laurelhurst roadway improvement project. The scope of work includes Edgewood Drive, Fieldcrest Lane, Robbins Street, Robbins Court, Glenmere Drive, Sunnycrest Drive, Salem Road, Harmony Drive, Ellen Drive, Walden Road, Cottage Place, Green Hill Drive, Glen Ridge Court, Wayside Drive, Tanglewood Road, Bonnie Lane, Bonnie Court, West Drive, Forest Road, East Drive, Laurelwood Road, and Laurelhurst Drive. 4.2, authorize insertion of Chapter 159 Municipal Alliance Grant 2018. Councilwoman Zapsik, please.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the acceptance of a grant for the Municipal Alliance Program in the amount of $39,523 and authorizes the CFO to insert it as a line item in the municipal budget. This is Municipal Alliance is BMAC, Brick Municipal Anti-Drug Coalition. This grant funding allows us to support the Neighborhood Watch Program in conjunction with the Brick Police Department. It encourages the safe storage and disposal of prescription medications, including mobile drop box events at the in the senior communities. It supports a physical fitness and sports wellness program for youth to encourage them to train for their sports safely to avoid youth sports injuries. And it also includes funding for youth-led peer-to-peer prevention programs in schools and throughout the community. Thank you.
Thank you. 4.3, authorize receipt of bids, purchase, and delivery of one pneumatic tire forklift. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the purchase and delivery of one pneumatic tire forklift. This equipment was approved in the 2017 capital budget and will be used at the Parks Department. 4.4, authorize receipt of bids, 2018 pavement markings, various locations. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for 2018 pavement markings. The Township engineer has compiled a list of pavement markings and striping projects that extend beyond the ability of the Township striping machine and manpower. We are going out to bid in order to complete the list of projects. 4.5, authorize rebid access control system. This resolution authorizes the rebid for an access control system. On August 31st, the purchasing office received bids for this project. A notice to bidders was placed in the Asbury Park Press as required by the local public contracts law and was placed on the Township website. Bid notices were mailed to 16 prospective bidders from our bidders list, of which 5 picked up bid packages. There were no bids submitted. The Township's IT director is requesting that we rebid. 4-6, authorize award of rebid vehicle repair services. This resolution authorizes the award of rebid for vehicle repair services to Ford manufactured vehicles to Larson Ford, Ocean Avenue, Lakewood for specified categories and rates. This is a 2-year time and material contract beginning September 13th and ending September 12th, 2020, with funds certified prior to each service and not to exceed an annual amount of $50,000. Bid notices were mailed to 30 prospective bidders from our bidders list, of which 1 requested a bid package. This is a combination time and material and flat rate bid. Although there was only 1 bidder, all rates and bid percentages offered on parts were considered and adjusted in the evaluation process, along with a mileage factor to determine which offer is most beneficial to the township. There were no bids for GM and Chrysler vehicles. Resolution 4-7, authorize rejection of bids, demolition of all structures, Block 131, Lot 18, 73 Tall Timber Drive. This resolution authorizes rejection of bids for the demolition of 73 Tall Timber Drive. The demolition was ordered by the Township Property Maintenance Board, and the Township went out for bids and identified a contractor to do the work. However, following that order, a responsible party has acquired the property and is rebuilding, thereby preventing the Township from having to expend money on this project. 4-8, authorize rejection of bids, demolition of all structures, Block 378.04, Lot 9, 8 Queen Anne Road. This resolution authorizes rejection of bids for the demolition of 8 Queen Anne Road. The demolition was ordered by the Township's Property Maintenance Board, and the Township went out for bids and identified a contractor to do the work. However, following that order, a responsible party has acquired the property and is rebuilding, thereby preventing the Township from having to expend the money on this project. 4-9, authorize change order number 1 final, roadway improvements to Village Way. This resolution authorizes a change order decrease in the amount of $32,819.68 be issued to MECO Inc., the contractor retained for the roadway improvements to Village Way project. 4-10, accept name change, National Joint Powers Alliance, NJPA, to Sourcewell. This resolution accepts the name change from National Joint Powers Alliance to Sourcewell. The Township has an agreement in place with National Joint Powers Alliance, a purchasing cooperative, to purchase goods and/or services in order to make the procedure process more efficient and to provide cost savings to the Township. In June 2018, the Joint Alliance Board voted to approve the name change to Sourcewell. This resolution confirms our acceptance of that name change. 4-11, authorize appointment of Code Enforcement Prosecutor. This resolution authorizes Michael R. Burns from the firm of Grace Momaro and Associates as Code Enforcement Prosecutor for the remainder of the year. 4-12, authorize placement of tax liens for property cleanups. This resolution authorizes placement of tax liens at 30 Cardinal Ave in the amount of $58.54, 417 Mammy Drive in the amount of $120.23, and 1411 Park Avenue in the amount of $114.44, and 735 Herbertsville Road in the amount of $179.92. 413, bond releases and reductions. Madam Clerk.
Yes, 413A is a performance bond release for Daniel Rack on Knollcrest Avenue in the amount of $6,222.62. 413B is an inspection fund release for Best Paving, Inc. on Chambersbridge Road in the amount of $577.12.
Thank you. 414, tax collector, Mrs. Bergen.
Thank you. 14A is a 100% DAV refund and cancel taxes for Block 378.41, Lot 8. And 14B is tax overpayments for the year 2018. There is one, Block 621, Lot 76, in the amount of $1,280.51. Thank you.
Thank you. 415, authorize rejection of bids and rebids, Police Department locker room. This resolution authorizes rejection of bids and rebids for the Police Department locker room renovations. A notice to bidders was placed in the Asbury Park Press and on the Township website. Notices were mailed to 19 potential bidders. 9 contractors responded to our notice and requested bid packages. On the aforementioned date, 3 bids were submitted with prices ranging from $181,373 to $238,800. It is the recommendation of the police chief to reject all bids in their entirety due to them substantially exceeding the cost estimate and budget appropriation for this project. In light of all this new information, it is recommended to substantially revise the bid specifications and re-advertise and rebid. This ends our consent agenda. Open to council.
Yes, I have a question. What happened to Eric Brophy? Why'd he resign from, on resolution 411? Does anybody know?
Mr. Starkey?
He got appointed to a position in the state. I don't offhand know what it is, and I believe he's,
Okay.
as a consequence, he closed his law practice.
Yeah, I know he is. I'm just curious why, I think it's the New Jersey Educational Facilities Director, if I'm correct. I wasn't sure.
Could be,
Okay,
don't know.
thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, motion and a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontoriero, second by Councilwoman Zapsik. Public, any questions? Seeing, yes.
Mancall, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. What is the National Joint Powers Alliance?
National Joint Powers Alliance is a cooperative a purchasing cooperative that we were a part of, and they just changed their name to Sourcewell.
And what do you purchase from them?
All types of things. Is this, do we get park benches and stuff like that, or is this more?
We sign up for several different co-ops each year, so that in the event we go to make a purchase, we can look at the co-ops to see if there's a better deal than what state contract has out or what we're advertising. We use it to help us shop around to get the best
And
price.
they have anything and everything that you would ever want to get or need.
Not everything and everything. Each co-op has kind of got its little niche of things
And
that
that's
they
what
market.
I'm asking for. What
Right.
is their niche?
Vehicle parts.
And where is Sourcewell located? Where does it do business? That's
They're
the
based in-
name it
they're-
was
yeah,
changed
they're-
to.
They're based in Staples, Minnesota.
Staples, Minnesota.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anybody else from public? Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Councilman Mumalo.
Yes.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes. Bill Resolution Computer 2018. Madam Clerk?
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $1,384,018.36.
Thank you. Open to council.
Yes, I have a few questions. You know, I'm not invited to the Democratic caucus meetings anymore, so I got to ask them up here.
You know you can call and make an appointment
It's,
with any one of our
page
township
2,
employees at any time, like all of us do.
Page 2, lake management. Can you refresh my memory on that?
Yeah, we pay a company, Councilman Fosman, Aquatic Technologies. We pay them twice a year to treat the lakes, Lake Godfrey. There's 4 or 5 of them in town that we treat so that the algae doesn't build up. The residents greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. And, let's see. Page 4, the senior transportation, I see it's for April and May. The money there, I believe there's 2 months came out to almost $15,000. When are we ordering the bus that we put in for the capital budget? Is that what that is, right, the seniors?
Yes, you're correct. are waiting for the bus. As you know, there's two that we would need in order to service the town. And one bus will come from our capital budget, as you stated, and the other bus will be coming to us from New Jersey Transit.
And when do we plan on starting that or doing that?
We have started the process. So we have put bid specs together. We've looked at our co-ops and under state contract, and we have put bid specs together and have them out for the bus for the one that we are purchasing through capital.
Yes, that's about $75,000. Because I presented that in 2013, it was rejected by the committee, and also 2014, it was rejected by the committee for to get senior busing. The busings are only $75,000. We're paying about, with this month here, May and April, it's came up to $15,000. We can get part-time people, retired people, to drive the buses, to drive the seniors, and the people that are in wheelchairs to the VFW. And that's what it would accomplish, so these people wouldn't have to sit in their houses.
Well,
Heather, you're on Meals on Wheels, you work for Meals on Wheels, and she should know all the people that, the homes that are delivered to, so we can get these people on the buses, that they can get on there. So, because these buses will have wheelchair access.
We do provide senior busing for the township, and actually Meals on Wheels saves a considerable amount of money because Brick Township is the only township that actually offers senior busing throughout the entire county. So Brick Township probably saves our organization hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing our own
The buses
senior
that we
busing.
have, the buses that we do have are not handicap accessible. They're school buses. These people in wheelchairs can't get on it. It's been like that for years. That's our problem, and I've been bringing that up constantly, and it's been falling on deaf ears. Everybody was waiting for the school bus to come in.
Well, I just have to
I can
say,
bring it up in a minute.
my recollection, my very
I
first
recall the minutes.
meeting here.
Here, I recall it right now. 2014, Business and Finance. I was the chair. Heather and Susan Lidecker were in there. It was brought up then. I even did a study on it. How many people were picked up? I did everything on it. How many people picked up, delivered, whatever. And this was done, and they turned it down. They wouldn't want to advance in the committee. That's 14.
The
Mrs.
direction I
Bergen.
got from the mayor and council, and there was a committee meeting that I sat on as a brand-new hire, as your brand-new business administrator, and the direction to me was, we would like to transition this busing to a township system. And you were on council at the time, Councilman Fosman,
Yeah.
and I explained that having gone through the New Jersey Transit Bus grant application prior, that if that was how we were intending to operate the program, we should pursue it, but it was going to take us at least 3 years. New Jersey
That-
Transit
that-
process does not move quickly. So the direction I got was move forward, recognizing that that was a transition that the council wanted to do.
No, I
So
got the
that's all I
minutes.
can speak to in terms of the
I got-
direction
I
I've
got the
had from
minutes
when
on
I
it.
got here.
The minutes state that two people refused to go ahead with it because the buses were only $75,000. You spent $150,000 in 2014. We could have got two buses and been doing this for 4 years.
Anybody else on the bills?
Yes, I have more.
Seeing none?
I have more. Page 6. His name's on here. I guess I can talk about him. Am I right, Mr. Starkey? It's, there's two names on the very bottom of the page. Am I allowed to say their names?
They're both employees, so without knowing what you're going to comment, I don't want to say sure it's fine, because typically the rule is.
Okay, one person on there, on the bottom, if the council can see it. I didn't realize that they were a registrar.
Yes, Lynette, would you like to answer that?
Yes, we do have two certified municipal registrars, or 3 certified municipal registrars in our office. He is part of my office.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know who he was.
And the
I
state
didn't
is
see that name
changing-
before.
Oh, okay.
He
The
does not
state-
sit in the clerk's office. He's physically located downstairs
Oh,
in
okay.
a different,
okay, that's
different
why I-
location because of the work that he does, and the
Oh.
equipment that he uses to do his work is located
Okay.
outside of
Right,
the...
but he still does have access to vital records, and it is required that he
Right.
be certified.
Okay, not a problem. I just didn't recognize the name there, and I just wanted to make sure. And page 13 says Fossil Industries. It says signs for marina. I'm just curious, were they for the stop parking, no parking signs?
No, we have those in-house.
Okay, that's all I want to ask. Thank you.
Motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontorero, second by Councilwoman Zapsik. Open to public. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilwoman Zapsik?
Abstain on New Jersey press media, and yes to the rest.
Councilman Halloran?
Yes.
Councilman Momolo?
Yes.
Councilman Fosman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero?
Yes.
President DeYoung?
Abstain CME Associates, yes to the rest, please.
Thank you.
417, Bill Resolution Manual 2018.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw order on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,786,380.78.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public. Or motion and a second, sorry.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontorero, second by Councilman Halloran, and open to public. Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Zapsik?
Yes.
Councilman Halloran?
Yes.
Councilman Momolo?
Yes.
Councilman Fosman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero?
Yes.
President DeYoung?
Yes. Moving on to public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Who's first?
John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. I'll read my letter that you all have. Dear Mayor Ducey, the Council President Young, all council people, council and the citizens, and the other employees of Brick. Okay. What is needed in and around Evergreen Woods, Greenbrier, Briar Mills, Brick High School, Lanes Mill School, and Birchwood area, Brick Township, are vast replantings of brush, shrubs, and trees that were destroyed by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, NJTA commissioners, near the Garden State Parkway, as well as a 14-foot noise and pollution and safety barrier to protect the health and well-being of Brick residents. Upon watching Ben Sass of Nebraska explain how the nation's legislators have abdicated their power, reminded me of Brick Township and its dealing with the NJTA. He stated that all items impacting the people are given to the alphabet soup of the bureaucrats who cannot get fired by the people that pay their salaries. It seems that the same thing happens in the state of New Jersey and here in Brick as well. We the people elect the mayor, although it's part-time, and a council, again part-time, in order to protect us, but a system is set up where bureaucrats run our town. The governor and the mayors in New Jersey become allies of the lobbyists and the alphabet soup of bureaucracies and seem more apt to do their bidding than to help the everyday citizens within the town. Since the mayor and town councils receive their counsel from the same lobbyist, political backers, bureaucrats, very little is done to alleviate the pains of the everyday citizen. These political allies, lobbyists, and bureaucrats demand payback for their support, and the residents go wanting. Does anyone really believe that the bureaucrats really work for the citizens, or do they more often work for their own self-interest? The lobbyists, the powerful construction companies, the unions, and the entire alphabet soup of the bureaucracy, such as the NJTA. As much as I feel as the mayor here in Brick and the council members of the last few years do care for the people, I was happy to see at least that one council person actually change political parties. In reality, I couldn't care whether the person switched to Republican or Democrat or anything else they wanted to call it, but it's nice to have someone that may not just be a rubber stamp for the administration and control. In truth, I would love to see the mayor, the council, the Board of Education, and every other citizen-funded position be non-political. The political parties are basically another branch of the alphabet soup of the bureaucrats that Senator Sass spoke about. Every member of the council and the mayor should denounce their association with political parties, such as the GOP, DNC, and whatever other initials you want, as long as they are supposedly working for the people. Maybe then each council member and the mayor could stand up and speak out about the illegal actions of the NJTA and any other alphabet soup group that hurts our citizens. urge each and every member of the council and the mayor's administration to look over their oath of office and be reminded that they work for the people who elected them. I urge each elected official, whether you be the mayor, the council member, Board of Ed member, to stop listening to paid representatives of the lobbyists and the underlings of the alphabet soup bureaucracy, and do what is needed for our children, our seniors, and every member of our community. Brick residents have been harmed by the floods, the sinkholes, the air pollution, the noise, and undesirable impacts of the greed of the NJTA commissioners. The residents don't need long, drawn-out studies or noise impact tests to know that the illegal actions associated with the Garden State Parkway GSP expansion has caused, at least in part, asthma, autism, COPD, hearing loss, and a variety of heart ailments, and of course, premature deaths. The NJTA commissioners are harming each and every one of our citizens, and it's well past the time that our representatives step up, speak out, and take action against this alphabet soup of the bureaucracy. A 14-foot noise pollution and safety wall is needed to protect us all, and with that, a vast amount of foliage needs to be restored. Every day of inaction will lead many of us to premature deaths, or at least leave us exposed unreasonably to the impacts of the deadly toxins, both in the air and the overflow waters of the Garden State Parkway. Thanks for your time, and I yield back 10 seconds.
Yes.
Respect. Aretha, where are you now? Nan Carl, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. And I want to underline every single thing that Mr. Sluka said, particularly about, number one, Mr. Fosman should not be away from the caucus because there should be no party caucus involved. You're supposed to work for all of us. And you're not always supposed to do what's best for the majority. You are supposed to safeguard the rights of the minority and see that the majority doesn't step on the minority and vice versa. Read the Constitution and you might learn that. Second of all, there was a comment, and of course, town isn't involved in this. It's the county, they say, that's going to have an engineer look into the problem. Sorry, I've said this before. It's time that the counties, the townships within the counties, all work together for the people. This is outrageous. I also had an opportunity to speak to Freeholder Kelly last week, and I mentioned to him about the statement he was quoted on about he said it was incorrect in that he did not say that it had been approved. He said that the Ocean County engineer looked into it and found no reason to say this problem was due to it. But you had it started out as Garden State Parkway. Then it became the Turnpike. And they didn't speak to the Ocean County or the Township. I am going to go down to Ocean County Township Clerk's office and look for if there's any record, because I know now everybody throws away records within 3 years, so you can't go back and find out that around 2005, possibly, definitely by 2007, there were several meetings at which all of us were invited. I think they were held in the school. They certainly weren't held anywhere in the municipal complex, such as it is supposedly a municipal complex. And there were plans that they were going to implement for the interchange 91 changes, making it a complete interchange. I want to see those maps that they had drawn up at that time because they do not believe what was implemented. Any statements saying that what happened to those 100 homes in Greenbrier Homeowner Association, commonly referred to as Greenbrier 1, they're all, from what I know, on the edge of Burrsville. None of them are up towards the other end you think maybe what went on Burrsville, which wasn't even done properly. There was supposed to be coordination, and in those original meetings, it was the Garden State Parkway, the Ocean County, and our township that were involved in what was going to happen. And we, the people, have a right to have a say in it. I'm going to go back and I'll post. I had thought that the saying, anything about us, without us, is not for us, originated over the troubles in Northern Ireland. I had heard its mural up in Belfast. It goes back at least to the Revolutionary War. And it basically had to do with things like taxation without representation. That's about us. And it's without our consent, actually, and therefore it's not for us. And taxation and what's going on in this particular town is another story for another day.
Anybody else? Yes. Come on.
Linda Dowling, not
Pull that.
941 Mercer Avenue in Brick. We have a boat at Traders Cove Marina on Dock A.
Can you
Oh, yeah.
speak more loud down since people in the back can hear you?
Yeah. Move closer.
We have a boat at Traders Cove Marina on Mantalooking Road on Dock A, and we have some concerns. From the start this year, there was no power on our dock. We were delayed putting our boat in. On and off, the power has been off, not working. Sometimes the water doesn't work. They are talking about increasing the dockage fees for next year. Also, we're a Brick resident, we're paying taxes, and we get no discount for being a Brick resident and having our boat there. The transit, people can use the laundry there and the Wi-Fi in the lounge, but the people paying dockage do not have use of this. So I don't know if we address you with these concerns or...
Well, the transient slips, when they pay to stay at those slips, they're paying $65, $75 just for the day. And that's part of the benefit they get is a lounge and the washer and dryer and showers.
We get very few transients, though, and this beautiful building is sitting there and no one is using it.
I don't think we advertise it properly, that's why. That's my thing. We should be out there advertising it all over.
Mrs.
But we
Bergen?
do have that.
I do want to point out that the transient building was funded through two different funding sources from the state, and both of those funding sources provided grants to us to build a transient facility. They wanted the marina to become a spot on the Intercoastal Waterway for travelers to stop, refresh, so the funding that was provided for that building was strictly prohibited for transient use.
I think I'm Frank Dowling, 941 Mercer Avenue in Brick. I think some of the things that my wife spoke about have to be addressed. The electric is on and off
Definitely.
all summer long. Whether it needs to be upgraded, it's a fairly new marina. The water lines
Yes, it
keep
is.
breaking, and this is no reflection on the staff. The staff there is excellent, and they do the best they can. I just think to increase the fees at this time and all that we've had to endure this year, I know some of our other people on our dock couldn't come tonight because I think it's back to school night or something, so it held a lot of them off. We were supposed to have more people here, but just I'd like to, if you could take into consideration, the raising of the fees, because, we're not getting a lot of bang for our buck there.
I'm just,
What we can do is, Councilwoman Zapsik, if I'm not out of line, we have a Recreation Committee meeting, and we can look into your concerns at that meeting when
Yeah.
we meet.
Is
Absolutely.
the marina funded by Bricktown, or is that Green
Green A-
Acres?
It's funded partially by Green Acres, so we
Oh,
have to,
okay. Because I know
charge.
if you bring a boat in on a trailer, you get a discount if you're a Brick resident, but if you have dockage there, you
Dockage.
don't.
We'll look
So-
into that.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
recreation meeting open to the public?
it's a council committee. It's 3 council members make it up.
On your dock fees, when you pay your dock fees, you get free electric, you get dock box, and you get free water,
Yes.
Yes,
When
When it's working.
when it's working.
or it's
yes.
working. But that's part of the amenities to having that. A lot of places, you gotta bring your own dock box, a lot of places, you gotta pay your own electric. You know, I used to be at the Pilot House, and I used to pay my own electric, I bring my own dock box. So it is
okay.
that's kind of all in one package too.
Yeah,
there.
all right.
So, and it's brand new, floating docks, state of the art. But I can see your point with the electric and the water, it should be working.
There was a transformer that they had trouble with.
Yeah, they
that was
replaced that,
outdated.
and I think in the future, they have another part of that electric system that's going to be replaced down the road.
Right.
That the,
It's in
They
our
That
haven't
transformer
spoken about-
failed a little premature on that.
right,
on that
yeah,
dock.
yeah. Okay, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you
Thank
for coming
you.
down.
Anybody else? Sir, I'll get to you.
I'm Martin Eisenschmied. I am a customer of Brick Township, not a resident of Brick Township. So, Madam President, is it okay if I address the council on that basis?
Absolutely. You can still
Okay.
give your address.
Yes, I will. It's 18 Normandy Drive in Jackson, New Jersey, and the slip I leased from the township is slip 826. And I just wanted to kind of follow on the comments from the Dowlings. The marina staff, just wonderful. Kevin Burge in particular, very, very helpful. And the things that I think I'm addressing are things that perhaps, beyond his reach. We have had, I didn't have electricity in my slip for 3 or 4 weeks. And 3 or 4 weeks. The concern becomes batteries run down,
Yeah,
bilge pumps don't run. I can see you're a boater. So, I don't think anyone here tonight is being, the angry citizen or the angry taxpayer, nothing at all like that. But I think we have some issues that might require some executive attention, which is why I'm here. And I think I heard there is a recreation committee meeting coming up, so it's good that you know these things. Having worked for the phone company, just recently retired, we have power distribution problems too, keeping all these data centers running. Perhaps winterizing is something that needs to be addressed. There are ways to winterize these power distribution units and perhaps maybe improve, because it is a relatively new marina, and some of the failures seem premature, to me. And of course, water's a problem. You need to wash down your boat, et cetera, et cetera. So what's happening, and Frank might not have had to remember to mention it, people are dragging hoses around on the dock to feed their water supply. So you have a tripping hazard, and you don't want that. So if that could be discussed at your upcoming committee meeting, I think that would be a very good thing. And thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm breaking things already, sorry about that. All right. Oh, my God. All right. You had to make a scene. Yeah, this is Michelle Spector, 808 Jenny Court in Brick. It's a little bit of a recap, I guess. About 4 years ago, Charlie Welch, the manager of, he's the DP land use manager. Okay, let's start again here. Sorry, it's been a long day. Charlie Welch, the manager of the DEP Land Use Division, visited Evergreen Woods. While the visit was really to pacify us, and he didn't really mention anything of note, he made some rather remarkable comments. That he hoped the basins worked. Interesting, considering millions of taxpayer dollars were used to fund this experiment. Cahill Associates were contracted by NJDEP in 1989, and they concluded the basins don't work. No new studies since 1989, and you'll notice they're cropping up all over the place. There's a reason I'm mentioning this. When I asked why, if 2 highway projects overlapped, why wasn't there a sound study in the area considering this? His answer, engineers are linear thinkers, and he chuckled. What did engineers not consider? being linear thinkers. Does deforestation cause flooding? Well, yes, it does. There is no doubt. Try Googling deforestation equals flooding, and you would literally get hundreds of hits and examples. Does okay, I'm sorry. I'm winging this a little bit too, sorry, apologize. What purpose trees? Without them, rain runs off the soil into the rivers and streams. The excess sediment builds up in waterways and clogs them, causing the banks to overflow. I Googled this also. Okay. So essentially, it shrinks the channels and causes the banks to overflow. That's how it happens. And the tree holds the soil in place, and if you remember the Dust Bowl, it was actually caused by agricultural practices, and because there were no trees to hold the soil in place, you get this Dust Bowl. The forest actually holds more water than grassland, and I noticed that in all these basins, there's grass. Not just that, but they compacted the soil by having heavy equipment sitting on there, which, according to best practices, they're not supposed to do. Even leaves serve a purpose. The water bounces off the leaves and falls on the ground gentler, not causing erosion. So there's less disturbance of the soil. The tree roots actually drive the rainwater into the ground and recharge it into the soil. Okay, now I'm going to go into the quiet pavement because doesn't really work. Quiet pavement is actually porous pavement, and if it's not maintained, it gets clogged, and the water will run right off. Also, the clear cutting. By clear cutting, you're actually causing erosion, and you're actually setting up a flood event. And this has happened all over New Jersey. Actually, it's happening all over the world. The rainforest, India, the Ganges River. So this is science. So I guess my question is, when you're hiring somebody to investigate this, besides Greenbrier has to get investigated, you have to investigate Evergreen Woods. Sutton got flooded. All the areas that got flooded have to be investigated. And the way the road goes, it slopes off into a very densely populated community. You really need, I think engineer was hired. An engineer is going to be thinking of point A to point B and who's at fault. A scientist is going to look at what caused the problem. What about this whole scenario caused this problem? And you're going to find the deforestation was at the root of it all. And thank you.
Anybody else for public? Yes.
Well, hello, everybody. Rob Canfield, 423 Malibu Way. So, a little while ago, an article broke in, I believe it was a Short Beat, that showed a scandal breaking out across the street. Well, it used to be across the street in the BOE, in alleged, I should say, as the article would say. And the number one question I have is, why has it been so quiet about it since? There's been no calls for a resignation. Everyone's aware of what happened, right? Getting some weird looks over here. Just want to make sure I don't have a recap. You know what?
Recap it.
Okay, recap. Cool. I like recaps. So basically, the Short Beat broke an article about a couple weeks ago that says that the president who runs a super PAC, I believe it's called, was taking payment for her administrating it, but the problem is the biggest contributor to the PAC is also the insurance broker that is used by the Board of Education. So it's basically the insurance broker, allegedly, of course, is paying her because
Sir, this is a
Yes.
political thing, and this is a council meeting, so we're not going to be addressing any kind of political activity at all. So, thank you.
It's his words. Why can't he talk? It's his comment. Can he speak?
Finish, but we're not going to comment.
You can finish. We're not going to comment.
Fair enough. So my main question basically was, why had nobody called for the resignation? And that's the question that I had, knowing that this had broken. But apparently, it didn't get over here, and I apologize that nobody has any idea what I'm talking about. And I
I
probably
know what you're
sound.
talking about. I was at that meeting.
Oh, okay. So some people do, some people don't. I guess that's it then, since we're not going to address it. Thank you all again for your service to our city.
Anybody else? Yes.
Melanie Briggs, I'll only take a second. I found the brochure that I was referring to last week, and I'd like to give each council member a copy of it so that
Give it to Jen. Thank you.
You can give it to Jan if you want. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Seeing none, close public. Mrs. Bergen.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mayor, welcome.
Thank you. All right. Have some great news. Trying to make our residents' lives easier. We're using our technology and just getting into the future. So we have our police department just launched, it's called WeTip, and it's a school security system that allows anonymous reports about suspicious activity, and students and adults can report these potential threats. It's paid for by funding provided to the Brick Township schools by the New Jersey School Insurance Group. So it's not taxpayer, not township money going towards it, not taxpayer money. The New Jersey School Insurance Group is providing the funding. The system has a toll-free hotline and internet lines, and those are staffed 24/7, and tips are distributed to be investigated. So the number is 1-800-782-7463, or you can just go online. It's called WeTip.com, and it's, whatever the problem you may perceive. So if you're a student and you know of another student, or if you're a parent and you know of a student, whatever the case may be, it's school security. With school security, obviously people go right away to the, obviously, some type of threat that may be made towards, some type of shooting incident or something like that. That's what it's for. But it's also for if you have a concern and you're out there and you're a high school student or a middle school student, whatever age you may be, and you have a concern that your fellow student may be wanting to harm themselves, this tip is for that as well. And it gets distributed, so if it's a threat such as I'm going to blow the school up or something like that, obviously that is something that would go to our police department. Whereas if it's maybe some type of suicide or doing harm to themselves, it would go to the mental health professionals and the counselors over at the school itself, so that these things can be dealt with. So it's a really awesome tool that is going to, hopefully nobody ever uses it, obviously. That would be the best thing, but I think there's definitely a need for it, and the fact that we have it here in Brick Township is great. So it's called WeTip. It's WeTip.com, and the phone number is 800-782-7463. So please, any students out there, don't hesitate to use it. I know parents won't, of course. You want to protect your children. We also have this other awesome technology. It's a new Recycle Coach app, and it's to assist residents with recycling and waste disposal. It's free to use, and it keeps residents organized with collection dates. You can set it up, receive reminders, so you get it on your phone, what goes where and when. So if you're wondering, can I throw that pizza box or that cereal box in the cardboard, or is it supposed to go in the garbage or the plastic bags, whatever the case may be, this Recycle Coach app, that's what it is. It's a coach. So it's going to coach you how to recycle properly. And the big thing is, as we know, we have every other week, and it gets confusing with holidays or snow or something like that. You're going to get the reminder, hey, this is the recycling week, so you don't forget and have to wait another 2 weeks before the recycling happens. Using technology, just trying to make everybody's lives a little bit easier and a little bit better and a little bit safer. Facebook update. So everybody knows I do a Facebook Live show. If you don't, you should check it out. We do them twice a month. We rotate them times and days. We do one during the month during the day, one during the month during the night. So this way we touch different audiences. And it's been very, very successful. So I asked just to run the numbers. So from September, just the last year, September 1st of 17 through August 31st of 18, so it didn't count the one I just did the other day, there was 22 Facebook Live sessions, which is almost 2 a month. I guess there's a couple of months I only did one. And the videos have been viewed 68,098 times, and they have reached 167,584 people. So if anybody wants to tune in, you haven't seen it yet, just basically take all the questions in the order they come into. You might have to adjust your Facebook settings. If there's something with your privacy that doesn't allow others to see, I may not be able to see it live, your question. But what I do is I just keep track of them and then answer them at the beginning of the next show. And the next one is Tuesday, September 25th at 6 o'clock p.m. So please, everybody out there, take a look at it. And, this way you don't have to you don't have to come to a council meeting or you don't have to send an email. You can just kind of get me live. What I do is I can answer most things. A lot of things I don't know how to answer or what the answer is. So what I do is I take the week or 2 or 10 days, however long it is between shows. I go to the whoever the professional is. If it's the engineer, if it's about paving, or if it's something with the building department, I go to the building officials, code enforcement, whatever it may be. And then the next Facebook, you'll see like the first 7 minutes or so are me recapping what I had to answer from the last time. So check it out. Also, some good news. The county did hire, if everybody remembers last council meeting, we were asking the county and Turnpike Authority to hire independent engineer. The county did hire one, so they are doing an investigation with regards to the flooding that happened on August 13th. Other good news, I received the day after Labor Day in the mail a copy of a letter from Governor Murphy on the governor's letterhead. It was pretty neat, and it's to President Trump. So that's why I thought it was, it's kind of neat seeing a letter from the governor to President Trump, and my name's at the bottom as a CC, which is pretty neat. And what it was actually hopefully good news for the residents who are flooded. It is the governor requesting President Trump to declare it eligible, the storm, and the people who were damaged, eligible for FEMA aid. And attached to it was a reasoning why in all the different towns. The governor had an interesting take on it. What he did is he had somebody take a look at it, and if everybody remembers, I know we're concerned about ourselves and what happened on Monday, but on that Saturday, if everybody kind of remembers looking at videos from that Saturday storms, they were like in little something, Ferry or Little Falls or Hackensack and up there, and there was those cars at the car dealership flying down into the bridge and all that. Well, that storm basically came back almost like a hurricane, which goes much, much faster in a circle. That storm came back around, and that was the one that walloped us on Monday. It just kind of, went out and came back up. So what the governor, because with FEMA you need to have a $1 threshold, right, in order to get enough damage so that residents can get help. So they lumped that storm together and said this was one weather event that took a number of days, took 3 days to happen between Saturday and Sunday and Monday. But then what it did is it took our damage here in Brick, the damage in Howell, the damage in Manasquan, which was all from our storm, and then also added to it the Saturday stuff, Hackensack and, like I said, Little Falls, and all those towns up north. So now we're waiting to hear from the federal government, and hopefully we will be able to get, and I'm talking about residential aid. I don't think we're going to reach the need for public aid because we really only had one road and a bridge and things like that. Small items that probably won't reach the threshold, but residents are the important part anyway, really, when it comes down to it. So we're hoping to hear soon from the federal government. And then lastly, we had an awesome ceremony here, September 11th ceremony, very solemn, remembering the Brick residents who were lost, and on that date, on September 11, 2001, and it was just nice to see Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. Those Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts were not alive when it happened. In fact, we were talking, and the kids who were seniors in high school, they're 17 now. They weren't alive when September 11th happened. So to keep it in everybody's memory is definitely an important part. And to see the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts taking part in the ceremony. There was also families brought their kids as well to the ceremony, and just all community coming together. And which reminds me now, looking back, and everybody can kind of reflect on what September 12th, 2001 was like, and what the next weeks and months were like. And that's when our great country, United States of America, came together. If you remember, there was no fighting. It didn't matter what race you were, what sex you were, what political party you were, what your financial status was, if you were rich, you were poor, whatever the case may be. It didn't matter. We were all just one country coming together. And just really, when you look back at that time, a horrible thing, obviously, that caused that to happen. It was a big tragedy. But to look back at that time and see how our country was one and it was together, it's a shame that it took a tragedy for that to happen. And I hope that everybody kind of works towards getting that feeling back at this time without another tragedy having to happen in order to cause that. It would just be nice if our country, our town, our county, our state can just be as one as we were back then in September 12th, 2001, and for the months afterwards. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Starkey?
No, thank you. Nothing to say.
Madam Clerk? Ms. Hartman? Councilwoman Zapsik?
Thank you, Council President. I would like to thank the folks who came out tonight to talk to us about Traders Cove, both the residents and the non-residents. I appreciate that. Appreciate knowing about that, especially for me as a non-voter. When I go down to Traders Cove, it's to enjoy a concert, so I don't really know what the challenges are, folks that rent slips for the season. Madam Secretary, would you add that as an item to our agenda for our rec committee meeting next week? And we'll definitely talk to the staff and get to the bottom of it. And thank you again for coming out tonight. I only have one other announcement, and that's on behalf of Councilwoman Crate. She usually talks about this, but Saturday we have our Kids for Canine event. It's 9 to noon at Drum Point Sports Complex. For those who are not aware, it's a community dog walk. And it will raise money. There will be activities and games and raffles and things like that. And it's 2 young girls, 6th graders in Brick Middle Schools, who are hosting this event to raise money to provide Narcan kits for our canine officers, for the dogs, because with so much fentanyl prevalent in the drug crisis nowadays, that dogs are very, very susceptible to inhaling it. So there's actually doggy Narcan. It's a dose specifically for dogs, and we want to be able to. They wanted to raise money to do something for our canine officers, and that's what they decided on. So if you're available Saturday 9 to noon, come out to Drum Point Sports Complex and support a good cause. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran?
Thank you, Council President. Is this on?
Yes.
I only have one comment, and just to reiterate from the mayor's comments about the ceremony, the 9/11 ceremony yesterday. It was, as you all know, the weather prevented us from having it at Windward Beach at the statue of the Angel of Anguish, which is always a great location for such an event, and bringing so many people together. We had it here in the council chambers, and it was extremely intimate, and I was very impressed with maybe it just being indoors and everybody being so close. Some of the stories were so personal. It was quite nice to hear some of these stories, heartbreaking, and just very personal. And I was impressed with that. So I hope everybody can come out next year when we do it, hopefully outdoors again. Thank you.
Councilman Mumlo?
Yes, thank you. Thank everyone for coming out last night for the ceremony. It was very nice. Shame we couldn't do it over at Windward Beach at the Angel Anguish, but weather was not cooperating this year. Also want to thank our council secretary. We get our computer bill resolution on Wednesday afternoon. It's sent to us, and also we have a copy of it. So we have plenty of time to go through this and ask questions for our department heads to get questions to anything that's on the bill and get answers. We get our package from our council. She does a great job. Friday afternoon, it's also emailed to us. So we have the whole weekend to review it. And then Mondays, Tuesday, even this week, we had the whole day of Tuesday and even today to go through it and ask any questions that we need to know. So that's why not a lot of questions are brought up here, because we do have this information and we do look at it. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes, if you're referring to me, I was on holiday. I just got back. That's why I had to ask questions at the dais.
Wasn't necessarily turned to you.
The people from the marina, I believe that if that was 4 weeks that you were in, with all, no electric, no water, whatever time you were, you should be, okay. I think you should be compensated for it somehow. Maybe the committee will do something and get them some more information.
I'm more concerned about, the staff getting the proper support, getting the leaders rectified for next season.
Yeah.
There's a lot of challenges. I realize you got green acres for the capital investment, but they never give you any money for maintenance. So I realize that's a concern, and I appreciate the comment, but I don't think we're going to ask for
I'm sure the administration will do their job to keep on top of it. And I'd just like to bring out, I was talking to the business administrator earlier in a meeting there about New York Avenue, about flooding. They're right in back of my street. Now, the other day, I just talked to him before I came to the meeting, my neighbor, because his house got flooded out. Even with 1.25 inches of rain, they had 1 foot of water on the road. The drainage is very bad, but the township is there. Joanne said they're out there. And the neighbor confirmed they were out there trying to clear some of the drainage and to work on it, but this is kind of an ongoing thing, and I hope we keep on top of it. So a young couple flooded out their house. They don't have any flood insurance either. So just like the people in Greenbrier, same thing, and I hope we keep on top of that. And that's all I have for this evening.
Councilwoman Ponterero.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank our residents for coming out tonight to let us know about the issues with the marina. What bothers me is that much time went by without the proper channels being notified so that something could be done to help you. Please know that our town, we're lucky enough that we have a mayor who is as accessible as she is. I don't want to speak on behalf of Mayor Ducey, but I know he would have welcomed a phone call, an email. We all would have welcomed an email or a phone call. I'm always surprised at how responsive, even being a council member, when there are inquiries, how many people are concerned about it. And just know that even though we all may not be voters, it doesn't mean that we're not concerned. I may not know what it's like not to have electricity at a boat, but it doesn't sound good. And if I hear something that sounds like a safety hazard, as an attorney, I know that doesn't sound good either. So in any event, please let your friends, family, and neighbors know that if there is an issue involving our town, we're here to help you. You don't have to wait for a council meeting. We're all available via phone, via email, just a phone call away, or you can join Mayor Ducey in his fabulous Facebook Live. But don't ever feel like that you have to wait for this moment to come and address issues with us. No issue is too small. Thank you for coming, and have a good night.
Thank you. And I would like to wish Councilwoman Ponterero a very belated happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Buy and brick updates. The Max workout has joined. They have the Max Challenge that they're offering a 5% rebate up to $100 off the taxes. So that's if you go with the Max or you want to start working out, that would be a great thing where you can work out and get money back on your taxes. Along with Herbertsville Car Wash, what was it used to be called? I forget. Buchanan's. The old Buchanan's reopened as a car wash. No drive-through liquor store or beer. And they are offering a 75-cent rebate on every car wash that you get. We also have a senior event coming up. It's a free health screening. They're doing blood pressure and whatnot on Wednesday, September 26th, and it starts at 9:30 at the VFW. So again, that's Wednesday, September 26th, and they're doing free health screenings. That is all I have for this evening. Our next scheduled council meeting is on September 25th at 7 o'clock. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.